Hello, Charles. It's Steve with VBE. How are you today? Alive and kicking, man. I'm doing good work. I'm on this side of the grass. Uh, you know, is now still a good time for us to meet? Okay, perfect. All right. Well, thank you for setting up the call and taking some time out today for me today. I appreciate it. The You bet. The call here is designed to be a Q&A. So we got a couple different ways to get all your questions answered. One, if you've got questions off the rip, we can start with those. If you'd prefer, I can just lay it all out for you, give you an overview of our process, and tell you what's what. How would you like to go? Sure, you bet. Absolutely. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay, let's get to it. So before I get to my process, let me tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do. Okay, so just so it's crystal clear. We are a medical evidence company only. And what I mean when I say that, Charles, is like we'll build you the claim package that you need to win the claim. We build that around a Nexus letter. We'll deliver that to you, but that's all we do, right? So we're not affiliated with the VA in any way. As a matter of fact, we're what the VA calls a third party. So what you're doing if you're working with us is you're going outside the VA system. You're getting your own doctor's private medical opinion to help support your claim, help you win your claim, right? But I'm not a VSO. Right. So VSO is a veteran service officer. This is a person that could submit the claim for you, could give you claims advice, pull your medical records, those sorts of actions. I can't do that. So we can't do what a VSO does, and a VSO can't do what we do. Right. So we're kind of a tool in your toolbox is another way of saying it. Okay. So that's what we do. And then how we do it is telehealth. So everything's convenient. Everything's just email, online, phone call, that sort of thing. So you'll never have to travel to work with us. Okay. It's pretty convenient, but that also means like we're limited in what we can work with you on. Like your feet and your knees and your back. I'm out, man. I can't, that's out of bounds for me. We can't do that credibly on telehealth. So what we do instead is we focus on claims that are credible via telehealth. So those are claims like GERD, sleep apnea, migraines, mental health. Right, those sorts of claims. Okay, so that's kind of who we are and what we do, how we do it. So now I'll get to the process. How we do it is this. So I'm about to send you another email, and this email has a link to our webpage. So if you decide to go forward with us, you'd click on that link. You would put the medical evidence you want us to write for you in your shopping cart, and then you would check out. So it's online shopping, just like you were buying something on Amazon. It's just a web-based. Yeah, it's pretty slick. So then once you complete checkout, you're able to schedule your telehealth visit with one of my doctors. Okay, so it'll be like a phone call. You can do it from anywhere. So as long as you can speak in private on the phone. Once that consultation is done, my doctor goes to work. So there he writes you the medical evidence you need to win the claim. So what you need to win the claim is a diagnosis and a nexus. Those are the two key pieces that you need to win a claim at the VA. Most vets understand diagnosis. Most vets don't understand nexus. So what a nexus is, so they're not the same thing, right? You got to have both. A nexus is just a connection between two things. So what what the VBA wants to see is how is this condition connected to the veteran service? So there's three ways to get a nexus, and we can get into that. But first off, let me just tell you what we do. We write a legal document that's written by a medical professional that says this condition was caused by the veteran's military service in some way, shape, form, or another. I mean, I'm glossing over some details there, but at a high level, that's what we do. All right, so that's one of the ways to get a nexus. So my doctor will write you the diagnosis and the nexus. So you're going to get that in your claim evidence package. But then we go further. So like if you say you qualify for a 50% award for migraines or headaches, we want to make sure you get that. So then we go further, we outline your symptoms, frequency and severity. That's what the VBA really wants to see is frequency and severity. They also want to know social and economic impact. So we will detail all that information out to show that you prove that you qualify for the 50% award. So that way it puts the VA in the position of you've already proven your claim. Now they have to disprove it if they're going to argue with it. All right. So it's a much better position for the vet to be in with our package. So my doctor will write all of that for you and then deliver it to you, and then you submit the claim. However you get claims submitted, whether you're working with a VSO or doing it on your own. right? Our package fits with however you submit claims. Then once you win, you keep everything, right? So you do pay up front. You see our fees there in the evaluation email. So you pay before you see the doctor. But then when you win, this claim could take you reasonably 80%, depending on what you want to work on, right? 60 to 80 or possibly even 100 if everything goes your way. Okay, so 80 or 90 is pretty reasonable expectations. 100 is, kind of pie in the sky a little bit. But it's possible. It's possible. It's not probable, but it's possible. So then say you pop from 60 to 90. That's roughly what? That's about I'd say $1,000 a month jump. Thereabouts. So, you're going to keep all of that. We don't see any of it. It goes straight to your bank account. We don't get a dime on the back end. Same thing for your back pay. If you're getting, $5 or $10 or $20,000 in back pay off this claim, straight to your bank account, man. Good for you. We don't see a dime. So you do pay that fee up front, but nothing on the back end. So that's kind of how payment works too. Okay. This whole process takes about 3 to 6 weeks from the day you get started. And then that whole time, I'm your point man for questions. So if you ever have questions, man, you come into me, either text or email, and I'm answering any question you got. I'll take care of you. Okay. So that's my spiel. What questions does that leave unanswered? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Appeals are critical to the process, right? So we absolutely do work on appeals. The thing that I ask my veterans is, so if you go forward with us, you'll create an account on our website. We'll create a dashboard for you. That dashboard includes secure folders. So it's 256-bit encrypted. It's HIPAA compliant. That's where you would upload any medical evidence that you have that supports your claim that you want us to look at. Okay. So that's what that's for. But I will also ask that you upload your decision letters. If we're working on a denial for you, one, we want to write you the credible medical evidence you need to win it. But two, we want to make sure that it's a rebuttal. We want to turn so usually what the VA does is they'll give you like 2 favorable findings and 1 basis for the denial. We want to take that basis for the denial and turn it around, right? Write you a rebuttal, right? So if you upload a copy of those decision letters on any appeal that we're working on for you, that helps us, make sure that we're addressing the gap why you're not service connected. So we'll address that directly. What are you appealing? Is it the sleep apnea? What are you appealing? Is it the sleep apnea? Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Time flies, doesn't it? Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's rough. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, okay. So even if you're diagnosed with sleep apnea at the VA, you go file that claim now, you're likely going to lose it because you don't have the Nexus, right? So we can write you the Nexus letter to help you win that claim. You see the price there. It's $697. So we would write it secondary to your mental health. Yeah. So I guess the original question, what are you thinking of appealing? What was it? I've been out since 89. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So did you go get seen while you're in the Navy for your back? Yep. So that's pretty common. So now you're screwed. Yep. Okay. So let's get into the 3 ways to get a Nexus, and this will tell you why you're screwed on your back. So I've already kind of outlined one way to get a Nexus is us, or companies like us, right? Where you get a medical opinion. It's a legal document written by a medical professional that says this disease or condition was either caused by or aggravated by the veteran's military service, right? So that's a Nexus statement or a Nexus letter written by a medical professional. That's what we do. That's one lane that veterans have. The issue is local doctors won't write them. Right. Most VA doctors don't want anything to do with Nexus letters. They don't want anything to do with your service-connected disabilities because there's 2 houses at the VA. We think of them as one, but it's actually the VHA and the VBA, right? So the VHA wants really nothing to do with the VBA, but the VBA requires you to have a Nexus letter. So that leaves you stuck as the veteran, right? So that's why we exist. Now, the other 2 ways to get a Nexus, besides what we do, one's the PACT Act. and I'll get to that in a second. The other one's direct. So direct connection is that's how most veterans get started with their service-connected disabilities. Is anything that was in their STRs. This is the prevailing logic right now, route to get your things service connected is you get your active duty jacket, get your STRs, your service treatment records. Then you comb through those. Anything that's in there, if you're still having trouble with it, go get seen or treated for it. Then once you've been diagnosed with an issue, you file the claim. So what happens is the VBA will see that complaint on active duty, so it's documented in your STRs. They see the diagnosis today, that there's a thread between those two things. If they see that thread, they pick up on that and they say, aha, that's a Nexus claim awarded. All right, boom, you win it. So that's a direct connection. The issue you have with your back is you didn't go to sick call. So there's nothing in your STRs for your back. Chances are you're not going to win it on a direct connection. Now, could you get to it on a secondary? Possibly. If there was something else, like say you went, a pallet shifted because it wasn't stowed correctly and it pinned you against the hull, and now you've got hip issues. So you actually went to sick call for your hip. So then you go get diagnosed with whatever's going on in your hip. You file that, you win it. Your hip service connected. Now your back is secondary to your hip. There is a way to get forward with that, see? But you've got to go off of what, for direct connections, everything's based off your service treatment records, your STRs for direct, okay? Now the PACT Act, what that does, it's an act of Congress that basically liberalizes Nexus. It tells the VA that if these veterans served at this location during these times and they have one of these listed conditions, all they need is a diagnosis, and then you'll service connect it for them on a presumptive basis. So the PACT Act mostly allows for respiratory conditions. There are some digestive issues and some cancers. So I'll use like asthma. If you develop asthma after service and you served at a time and a place that's listed on the PACT Act list, and your DD-214 reflects that, then now you just go get diagnosed with asthma. You qualify all 4 conditions. You file that, you win it under the PACT Act. The VA is going to presume you developed asthma because you were exposed to these TERA environments, right? TERA, Toxic Exposure Risk Assessment is what they do. So then, and they call it TERA. So that's the 3 ways to get a Nexus. So we're in that middle lane there where you're getting a doctor to write it for you. So we're limited on what we can do, but you're in a good spot here you've got 4 or 5 that we can work with you on and could potentially take you to potentially 100. I see 90 as real reasonable expectation, but it costs, right? There's a cost involved. Okay. Man, you need a desk job. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Good. Yeah. Yeah. So where I'm at on your claim, yeah, Charles, is the migraines are definitely underrated. The threshold to reach 50 for that is just frequent disabling attacks. That's what the CFR says. So moving you from 10 to 50 is pretty probable. No guarantees, right? So we could definitely do that. For that, you need a DBQ. So a DBQ, $347. Okay. So that would move you, yeah. So that would move you from 60 to 80 by itself. And then the sleep apnea claim that you need a Nexus, that's $697. Okay. And then that would move you from the 80 to 90. So just those two alone would take you from 6. So yeah, most veterans win that at 10%. Now I don't know your symptoms, right? We can definitely work together on the GERD, but it wouldn't change you from like 90 to 100. If you win it at 10%, you stay at 90. So we can definitely work on that. Every little bit helps, but it's not going to change you from 90 to 100. So if you were like, if you want to do all three, let's do it, right? Absolutely. No issue there. You've got a valid claim. We can help you win that. And there might be some back pay involved. So that is worth pursuing from that regards. But as far as your percentage goes, those three claims would likely take you to 90, not 100. So in order to get to 100, you really need to move your mental health from 50 to 70. So that could be something we pursue in the future. So if you wanted to do like your biggest bang for your buck right now is probably the sleep apnea claim, because that's going to move you a full 50%. Your next biggest bang for your buck is probably the migraines, because that's going to move you 40%. Okay. And then the GERD, I don't know your symptoms. Like I said, it could be really bad. You could qualify for the 30% rating. That's a pretty rough bar for a lot of vets to cross. Most vets, like statistically, like 65 or 70% of vets that are service connected for GERD are service connected at 10%. So that's what I'm basing it on. It's just the statistics, not your symptoms. Okay. So I just wanted you to know. Yeah. Okay. So we could do all three. If you're doing all three, you're at about $1,900. You're under 2,000. Yeah. Yeah. I got to too. Yeah. I understand. So the issue with a lot of VSOs is they get burnt out. It's a demanding job. There's way too many vets that need help and way too few VSOs. So if she's gone MIA for the last 4 months, man, she either quit or just tired of dealing with you and burnt out, or you maybe got moved to a different region or branch. So what I'll do is I'll send you my resource links email. So this is a bundle of links, about 5 or 6 links here. One of them is how to find a VSO in your area. So if you needed to find a new one, you could. Another one is a YouTube video on how to file your own claim. So you may want to watch that video and see, hey, can I get this claim submitted myself? And I think you can. But check out this video. And there's some other links in there that may or may not be useful to you, but I'm just sending you all of them. So just sending that now. So remember, like your legs, your legs and your feet, I'm out, man. I mean, I can't really get to those. Now, once you get to 100, if you've got some other things, or once you get to 90, once you get to 90 and we're talking together in the future, like say, you go forward with these 3 claims right now, or, one, then the other, then the third, however you do it, then we get together in the future. Hey, and you're telling me, hey, Steve, I'm stuck at 90. How do I get to 100? Then we start chopping up all these 10%ers, right? We start looking at we start shaking the walls and see what else falls. Right. But these 3 are your big movers, or these 2 are your big movers, and the GERD would be a piece of that. Correct. Yeah. So if you focus on those, you get the biggest bang for your buck as far as compensation and changing your percentage. Then, then we can focus on, how do we get you to 100? You're at 90 now. How do we get you to 100? And then we can lay out all the options at that point. Because if we start talking about all the options now, you're going to have too many options. Let's focus on the high value stuff, get you that return on investment, so you're drawing that increased pay, and then figure out a strategy to go from 90 to 100. That's the hardest 10%, but we'll get together in the future, another call like this, and we'll talk about that, figure out the best path. Does that sound fair? Okay. All right. Well, thank you for the time today, Charles. I appreciate it. You bet, man. Absolutely. So you got 2 emails coming from me. One is the link to the website. So if you decide to go forward with us, you just click on that and get started. It doesn't expire. So the link will be there. Yeah. And then the second email is just educational. It's resources. It's available to you. So take a look at that, see what is useful. Just ignore the rest. So you'll have 2 emails from me here in the next few minutes. You bet, Charles. All right, man. Well, thank you again. Have a good rest of your day. All right. Thanks, man.